Hello,
Hi.
my name is P. Sozano and I'm going to be your counselor today.
Okay.
Before we start, I just wanted to let you know that this conversation is private. It's not going to be shared with anyone without your explicit consent. If you're okay with that, please let me know so that we can go ahead.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. And secondly, I just want you to know that this is a safe place.
Hmm.
If there's anything you're not comfortable with talking about, like you should let me know. And if you have any ideas or if there's anything that you want me to talk about or you want to talk about with me that will make you more comfortable, just let me know.
I will. I will.
Okay. So what brings you here today?
Well, I am trying to change careers, and I've been noticing I've had a lot of anxiety issues associated with that. I'm beginning to feel like I'm not qualified enough. Worried about being able to transition. Worried about being able to get the right pay, being able to compete with people who are already more technical in that field. Because I don't have a background and I'm trying to transition to a new career, it's I'm having this anxiety with that. Worried about jobs, worried about pay, worried about where am I going to go, worried about time. All of those kind of worries are kind of impacting me and my mental health seriously.
Mhm. So what kind of job did you do before deciding to switch?
So I have a background in biochemistry, so I am trained in biochemistry. I've worked in a chemical company, and also my professional and work experience has been in the chemical slash biochemical field. I'm currently trying to retrain to move into IT, to be specific, data analysis. So it involves a lot of coding, which I never really did. Although I had some prior experience with Excel, which is required for data analysis, that's kind of where I ended. I had some knowledge with R, which is a programming language, but I didn't really go far with it. So I'm trying to, because I'm going through a boot camp. There's kind of a crunch. The studies that would have spread over 4 years or 2 years in university and compounding into 6 months or 12 weeks, right? So there's that. In addition to also feeling that you're changing careers, there's also that worry of not having enough time or not being prepared enough or well prepared to switch.
So why do you think like you're not going to be able to um, switch careers? Why do you think that you can't do it?
I'm not too sure. I think for me it's so I think there are two things for me. It's one of the things I think is, am I qualified enough, right? What I've learned, do I know it well enough to be able to get the job? And even if I get the job, even if I know it well enough, would my past experiences hinder me, right? So I see a lot of job postings wherein they require you to be specifically trained in computer science, economics, mathematics, physics, but I never see anyone say biochemistry, right? Although I've heard of people who have done it, the success stories are minimal compared to your computer science and your economics and your physics graduates. Um, I think that kind of having a background there kind of gives, I would say, a slight disadvantage, and that's what I worry about. And also, I think in Canada, the data analytics field, although it's booming, um, it's not like the States where you have tons of companies hiring for tons of jobs, so there's a low supply, a lower pool of applicants, right, compared to Canada. In Canada, you have a vast number of graduates applying for this one field, so there's also that kind of competition that kind of worries me. Um, Although I shouldn't be worried, but I should take it one step at a time. It still kind of gives me this anxiety whenever I see the job applications.
So can you walk me through the process of um, data analysis? Like, what do you have to do to become a data analyst?
So to become a data analyst, you have to have some statistical knowledge. So you have to have a good knowledge in mathematics, statistics, and then you have to be able to use some statistical software. So um, something like Python or Excel or R. Um, that's where the coding comes in, and there's also like coding with regards to the databases, um, which is what SQL is. It's a coding language for databases. So I've learned all of those, and those are kind of the technical skills. But I think there's also how being able to merge that with actual business insights. So it's being able to transfer your your technical skills, like your Excel on data analysis, like the actual mathematics, into business like roles. That's something I think I'm lacking at in terms of I might be able to analyze the data and tell you what exactly is going on, but applying it to actual business data is kind of tough for me. I think that's where I'm having my issues.
Yeah, so you have the statistical knowledge. You've been able to, I'm guessing, go through the course work and like you understand what is going on. Why do you feel that if you've done all those things, you cannot actually, um, you can't actually do the work of a data analyst?
I think for me, it's also it's not that I haven't done. I know them, but I think I'm not as confident in my knowledge as I should be, right? So I occasionally find issues where I'm trying to solve a problem and I get stumped by a code, right? And I have to go back to the drawing board to kind of review again, right? So it's not something that I can just be working. It's something where I will still have to go back to the drawing board. So imagine, for instance, I'm in an interview and they give me a code to work on, and I'm stumped, and I have to now go back and start Googling. It gives a bad look to the potential employer. I think some of those things are kind of what worry me. It's not necessarily not knowing. It's not knowing well, or not knowing as well as, especially when you take into consideration the fact that I'm already quote unquote in a disadvantage because I don't have a traditional background in terms of the applicants that apply to such jobs. I think those are kind of the things that worry me with regards to why I feel inadequate or unprepared.
Okay. From my understanding, like you are trying to compress a course that takes about 2 years.
Yeah, 2 to 4 years.
2 to 4 years, and trying to compress it into
12 to 6 months.
12 to 6 months. So it's understandable that you would be worried about not being able to make it. So maybe you can take more time. As in, did you consider taking more time? If you feel like you're not prepared, did you consider taking more time to actually work and understand more?
Well, that's a possibility. The only issue with that is I am paying for the program, and I pay monthly. So the more I pay, the more time I take to study, the more I have to pay for it. Right. So, but eventually it's capped at 6 months. My original goal, just because of financial circumstances, I was aiming to do it in 5 months, as opposed to 6 months. I think that might also have caused me to rush through certain segments. In a bit to save money and kind of save. It costs quite a lot per month. So in a bit to try and save some cash there, I've rushed through some courses which might have made me feel inadequate, which is right. I have considered it. I have not yet put it into practice. It's a possibility, yes.
So you talked about all this making you anxious. When you say you're anxious, like how is it for you?
So it's like whenever you open the job application and you want to apply, and then you look at the application and you go, I probably wouldn't get that job, right? That's kind of the feeling that if I was to put that feeling into words, that's kind of the feeling that I would get. Like it's always there at the back of my hand. It's like, would you get that, or do you need more training? Something like that, right? Or even if you get that, would you be able to succeed in it? I think those are kind of the worries that's kind of the feeling I would say.
And then like you having those worries, like how do you think you would want to address it?
I think one of the things you said is definitely true in terms of taking more time to practice. So going back, studying more, coding more, taking some of that time to address it. And I think even just talking about it kind of gives you escape, I guess, or a release. But I think in addition to that, I would also like to talk to some, like I said, there are some people who have done it, so it's not impossible. I just need to go out there and talk to them.
I think